But how many people actually know that this whole thing was pulling a scam? One of the biggest scam, I think, in the history of South Africa.
The rand, and we are a South African company.
Steinhoff International has reported that its first half headline earnings per share grew by 5%.
Ackermans, yeah.
Ackermans, which other one?
Go, Hi-Fi Corp.
Hi-Fi Corporation.
Incredible Connection.
Connection.
If you're thinking furniture, you are thinking Pepco.
Yes.
And Pepco is basically owned by these guys, Steinhoff.
The problem, of course, is that Steinhoff is a big multinational company. It employs over 130,000 people across the world. So the potential loss of jobs there is enormous.
No, but trust the government.
Okay, you can't trust it. You can't trust the government. You can't trust.
I'm not trying to spread conspiracy theories. You can't trust the government.
You can't trust the government.
Go vote, guys. You're Joe Schmo.
Yeah, I'm a Joe Schmo, and I want investment opportunities. Do you think it'll be the best thing for me to invest into, like, okay, which of the two? A holding company or a hedge fund, bro?
Definitely holding company for me, because I've had it explained to me before.
Okay.
You don't need to be like super wealthy to own a holding company. All it is basically you just putting your assets under one umbrella of management.
So this is the structure of a holding company.
This is the structure of a holding company.
Okay, so how does it go?
A holding company is an entity, so it's a business, but then the job of a holding company is to hold stock. So it doesn't do any day-to-day business activities, right?
Okay.
All it does is it holds percentage in different companies.
Okay, so it's sort of like a mothership.
Exactly.
And it's got like different
little
boats,
battleships, exactly.
Little battleship and boats under it.
I like to think of it like an octopus. It's got a head, and then all those different companies are tentacles.
Okay.
So yeah, anyone can actually vie for that option. Like, it's okay. Any asset you own, bro. Like, let's say you don't want your vindictive ex-wife to take your house after the divorce.
Okay.
Well, a way around that would have been registering the house into a holding company, so you don't technically own it, and she needs to speak to the board of the holding company, and they all need to unanimously approve her acquisition of the house.
Okay, yeah, because I actually saw that holding companies, in order for, like, if, let me say the mothership was to liquidate, right? It wants to close off everything. It will need the approval of every other companies under it.
Yeah, it's got a board on the mothership level.
Yeah.
And they have they've got signatories there.
Okay.
So you need signatories. You need a majority vote kind of thing. And obviously people don't just want to sign stuff off, because like that means they kind of run and own this thing as well. And even the people downstream have some sort of say.
So for majority of people, they will try and find like security in hedge funds, which are basically they protect your money. It's like you give it to, let me say you give your money to a hedge fund. That responsibility is actually to invest your money in various security or financial vehicles so that they can gain profit. And from there you have like an agreed upon percentage. You'll take this amount and I'll take this amount, right? Over a specific number of years, right? So that's a hedge funds. So their goal is just to protect your capital, and they actually invest for a lot of people, like mutual funds, pension funds as well.
Yeah, bro. Pension funds.
They actually invest for a lot of people, and it's mostly big institutions. So that's the role of like hedge funds. But the funny thing is to think that people will actually have security in all this, because these things are regulated. But then again, you find out that years later, these things did not have the security that they promised, because they're actually run by people.
I think that's way more painful, because you trust them to have some sort of integrity, being registered with FISC.
Exactly. That's why they're long term. So even when your money is missing, like your money is gone, you wouldn't know your money is gone. And you might take about, bro. I mean, that's the crazy thing.
I'm so scared, bro.
That's the scary part. It's like your money could have been missing for 10 years, and you didn't know your money is missing for 10 years.
So, and you think you're a millionaire the whole time, and then you have nothing.
Yes, on paper you might be.
On paper, yes.
But in actual, you're not.
I think that's even worse. You know what? I would take my chances with a mashonisa, because I know the worst they can do is like break my knees or whatever. It's fine. I'll go to the hospital and come back out. Or they'll take my ID. It's cool. I'll make another one. But no, but even that's crazy. Like I want the security of Fisker, bro. Like
That's
I
the
really
thing.
want
It's like
that.
there's literally no security. We looked at what's Warren Buffett's one called?
Berkshire Hathaway. It's an example of holding company.
In South Africa now, which holding companies come to mind?
The one and only Naspers.
Okay, Naspers. I know. What's this? I think it's Rand Merchant.
Yeah. The Rand Merchant Bank.
Yes, the Rand Merchant Bank.
Yes,
It's actually
yes,
a holding company as well.
Yeah.
I know they're actually responsible for like outsurance.
They own F&B as well. Yeah.
Naspers as well is responsible for Take a Lot. A lot of people would not know that.
Nah, not really, hey. Delve deep into that world if you really want to just like unpack it and everything.
Exactly. They were also responsible for Luno.
Hey, Naspers owns Luno, bro.
They were. Like,
Did they?
yeah, but now they don't have it anymore.
Oh, okay.
Another company took over. It's a holding company, I think, overseas, took Luno over completely.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So they don't own that. Udemy?
No.
Yeah. Naspers own
No.
Udemy.
No, they don't.
I'm serious.
They don't own Udemy.
Yeah.
Bro,
Yeah, it's under them.
Naspers owns Udemy.
Yeah. And various other that a lot of people actually be
You know what?
familiar with
Actually,
it.
I need to go home and look at these things because, yeah, I didn't even know they owned Udemy like that, bro. There was a lot of smoke around this company, man. Like it was kind of crazy.
Really, Steinhoff.
Yeah. Bro, think about it this way. When I was in varsity, they used to sponsor Varsity Cup.
Okay.
Yeah. Like you'd see Steinhoff logos everywhere. This is 2018, like not so long ago. Bro, almost overnight after that, gone.
They disappeared.
Yeah, bro. I mean, it was big. It was everywhere. It was a big Steinhoff campaign. I didn't even know who they were. It was just like, I thought, there's a lot of these companies that sponsor sports that you have no idea what they do.
Yeah, like you don't actually know.
You have no idea what they do, but yeah.
I mean, Steinhoff had Pepco under them as well.
They did,
They did. And for majority of people that don't know, Pepco owns
Ackermans, yeah.
Ackermans. Which other one?
Bro, Hi-Fi Corp,
Hi-Fi Corporation.
Incredible Connections. Bradlow's. If you're thinking furniture, household appliances, etc., you are thinking Pepco.
Yes.
And Pepco is basically owned by these guys.
Steinhoff. Yeah.
Steers. That was them.
Them as well.
Yep.
Familiar, right? A lot of people are actually familiar with this.
Big institutions that a lot of people use.
But how many people actually know that this whole thing was pulling a scam? One of the biggest scam, I think, in the history of South Africa.
Yeah, it gets messy from here.
It
guys.
really, really, really gets messy.
Bernie Madoff, the mastermind of the biggest Ponzi scheme in history. At one time, a member of the Wall Street elite.
The whole concept of these new types of systems is to make it easier and more cost-effective for people to trade.
Madoff was someone who was very much in the thick of things on Wall Street and generally respected.
His firm pioneered after-hours trading.
But behind that veneer, Madoff conducted a $65 billion fraud that left thousands of victims financially shattered.
We lost 95% of what we had.
I think what he did is despicable.
He sold his soul for the buck.
His scheme went undetected for years, raising doubts about the government's commitment to protect investors.
And somehow, they couldn't be bothered to conduct a thorough and proper investigation.
If Bernie Madoff had not confessed, I don't know that we can say for certain that the SEC would have ever uncovered the fraud.
Madoff Investment Securities has reminded us yet again of how badly reform is needed.
Like a Shakespearean tragedy, Madoff even destroyed his own family.
Confirming that 46-year-old Mark Madoff hanged himself at his home here at 158 Mercer Street using a dog leash.
I blame Bernie, and it's the worst thing that can happen.
This was the story of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, a Ponzi scheme hidden inside a legitimate business.
Which was basically 2008.
38 years.
Operating.
A Ponzi scheme for 38 years, bro.
I mean, I think he knew how to cook the books.
Oh yeah, he knew more than how to cook the books, bro. He knew how to make markets. Like this guy was He was in charge of the NASDAQ at some point.
Yes, he was a chairman of NASDAQ at one point. And he also ran his own investment company.
Exactly.
Where people were investing. And I think they said he convinced over 10,000 people, I think over the years.
Yeah, throughout that time to invest with him.
To invest with him. And we're talking about clients that have money, bro.
Bro, I watched the documentary on Madoff where they exposed his victims. There was a property company in Chicago that I think they did old age homes or something. They invested in him, okay? Now you need to understand, the industry they're working in is very delicate. No pun intended.
It's like for old people.
Yeah.
Madoff turned to feeder funds, larger groups of individual investors that would pool their money for the fund to invest. Some of the feeder funds turned over all their cash to Madoff, unknowingly fueling his Ponzi scheme and giving him the means to pay out earlier investors. By 2008, Madoff's investor clients were receiving paper statements that consistently showed profits year after year. The sum of all those individual accounts, $65 billion.
Okay, bro, imagine people that invested with him from the 70s, all right? Or rather people that believed in him and invested with him maybe from the 60s.
The 60s, yeah.
Till that time. And most of them are thinking, oh yeah, my grandkids are going to enjoy this cash. I've already taken this amount withdrawn, but the rest that is left, I'm going to put it in my will. Isn't it? You can pass it over as well.
You can.
I'm going to put it in my will and my kids are going to enjoy.
Yeah, no, the kids didn't enjoy anything, bro. It was tough. It was tough. We can't laugh at it even.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. I don't know what's funny about it, but that's so sad.
It's terrible.
You know what's the sad part? Like I stated, the sad part about this whole entire thing is there's security to it. It's governmentally restricted and regulated. So there are basically institutions that claim that, guess what? We are responsible for overseeing financial activities, all right? In this world, we're gonna regulate this individual. We're gonna oversee everything. Don't worry. We are an accounting firm that actually checks the books of every other company, financial company, to see if they're still in check. Then all of a sudden, guess what? You wake up 30 years just to discover everyone was just doing bull.
Yeah, I mean that's like a big pie in your face, bro.
Bro, that's so bad. That's literally so painful. That means there's literally no security. You can't trust no government.
Bro, as if you could trust the government to begin with.
No, but
trust the government.
Okay, you can't trust it. You can't trust the government. You can't trust.
I'm not trying to spread conspiracy theories. You can't trust the government.
You can't trust the government.
Go vote, guys.
But what are the facts into Benny?
His Ponzi scheme, I think, started somewhere in the 70s, where basically they weren't making the money they said they were. So all they did was they robbed Peter to pay Paul.
Yes.
And they kept that going for a long time because...
I mean, that's what a Ponzi scheme is.
Essentially.
Which is basically just like taking new clients' money and giving it to the old clients, whilst old clients' money is nowhere in existence.
Exactly. There is no viable cash flow. Like, there could be times where you guys have like a lot of money and times where you have literally nothing. And you depend on the next client. Like, it's crucial you get that next client.
Damn.
Otherwise, the house of cards falls. In Madoff's case, he could have kept it going for a lot longer had it not been for the 2008 housing bubble burst.
Yes.
Not in generations has Wall Street absorbed the number of body blows it took today.
The American financial system is rocked to its foundation as top Wall Street institutions topple under a mountain of debt.
When you step back for just a moment and consider the events of the last few days, it is truly unbelievable.
The roots of the crisis can be traced back years earlier, when the number of risky subprime mortgages skyrocketed. When housing prices fell and higher interest rates kicked in, homeowners couldn't keep up with their payments.
Foreclosures are rising, and the biggest problem is that prices continue to drop. Until home prices stop falling, things just aren't going to get any better.
Yes, that was actually responsible for what caused his downfall, because a lot of people actually realized, because the whole thing was companies beforehand, the whole housing situation was companies beforehand were actually like giving out, what did you call it? Ninja
loans.
Ninja loans. That. So they were basically giving out people loans without you know how you check credit score.
Nothing,
people were just lending out. They were just lending out loans like no one's business. And so it came to a point where, guess what? A lot of people could not repay back. And because there were a lot of loans given, right? There was inflation.
Exactly, hyperinflation.
Because, yeah, it was crazy. We needed a restart to the economy.
Pretty much.
And the worst thing is a lot of companies, or rather a lot of banks, somehow like do transactions within themselves, right? They're in cahoot.
Absolutely.
With each other.
Yeah, it's like how you can send money between banks, right? That means they have accounts of each other.
Mm-hmm.
That's basically it.
Even loans.
Yes, of course, loans, etc. They do loan each other money. Yes,
exactly.
That's a known thing.
So, because that was the case, meaning companies were borrowing within each other, and if one company, or rather one particular banks in a particular area or countries were affected, it meant other banks in other areas or in other countries were also going to be affected.
Bro, it was blood on the street, man. Like, listen, when that thing happened, it happened in New York, right? In the infamous Wall Street. I'm sure you guys have heard of that.
Yeah. It was not only America. A lot of countries,
global.
Their money were in the stock market, bro. And the stock market is one market.
It's the stock market.
It's the market.
It's not a market.
It's not a market. It's the market. So if one player is going down and is one of the biggest players that controls the flow of cash,
yes,
right? And they are in possession of so much, cash in this whole entire market. If one is going down, the probability is we are all going down.
That is so scary. Like, I don't even know how to feel about that, bro. Like, think about it. Because one person flops, there's a domino effect, and then all of a sudden, we just falling one after the other.
Mm-hmm. So that's what happened in 2008. Because now, a lot of banks were just going berserk the way inflation is on the rise. Now people need money to maintain and to hold themselves in balance, and things were just falling. So a lot of people actually started doing was to like withdraw their cash.
Exactly. Pull out your money.
A lot of people were pulling out their money because this thing was not stable. It was going to blow. It was a bubble.
It was a bubble. It was going to burst, and they thought, you know what? Let's get our money out of here before this bubble bursts, and our money is worth nothing.
So a lot of people actually started pulling out, and now, guess what? Bernie Madoff.
You start out, at least in my part, not exactly sure what I wanted to do in life other than be a success. I built my confidence up to a level where I sort of felt that there was nothing that I couldn't attain.
Yeah, he found himself in muddy waters there, didn't he?
Guess what? Yeah. A lot of people that were investing with him for 30 years, 20 years, 10 years, now decided, hey, guess what? We've been investing and my money has grown. Based on the papers.
Yeah. I'm a multi-billionaire.
I'm a multi-billionaire, yes.
Yes. It would be wise for me to pull my billions now.
Oh yeah, let me protect my money.
Yeah,
let me literally protect my money because this bubble might burst.
The poop hit the fan when people started requesting 50 billion. Yeah, there was a client of theirs who requested 50 billion to be withdrawn from the fund. And then now beads of sweat start building on bruised forehead, and it's like, yeah, we don't have 50s.
Like, bro, we don't have such amounts, bro.
I think they even started making microtransactions. Like, okay, we'll give you 50, but let's do 10 now, 20 another time. But then the market was falling so rapidly that people didn't have patience. They were like, you can't pay me 10 now, and then on Thursday pay me 20. That 20 might be worth 5 by the time you transact it to me.
True. Because the value of everything was literally dropping.
It was falling like crazy.
And the unfortunate thing is you couldn't borrow from another person.
Nobody was borrowing.
No institution because everyone is trying to save themselves.
Nobody, literally, the global borrowing kind of like froze. Like, nobody was borrowing money to anyone. It was hectic. Oh, there was blood on the street.
It was.
I don't know. I mean, he would have been a very rich man had the Ponzi scheme not blown up in his face.
But I personally don't think he was the only one involved. I think he took the fall. He actually took the fall.
Yeah.
He actually took the fall. And it stated that, I think it was Cornell University that actually did research, and they stated that he was responsible for causing people to actually withdraw about 363 billion worth of withdrawal. Panic.
That's richer than Elon Musk, isn't it?
I think times two. Is it not times two?
A lot of people who had so much trust in the financial system don't anymore. A lot of people who had trust in investment environment.
No, but then again, it actually makes sense, because, I mean, how do you trust the financial institutions of the financial system if there were powers, or rather institutions that were there, governmental institutions put in place, that were claiming that they're responsible for regulating the activities in the financial market? Then all of a sudden you're finding out, oh, guess what? A lot of people are bypassing these rules and regulations and policies in place. How do you trust, bro?
You can't.
So that means the government is actually out here to get you as well.
They're complicit.
What's the probability that Madoff was not in cahoot with the government?
Well, we can't say that for sure, but look, you can't pull off something so grand right under.
And for many years, how many years? 30 what?
38 years.
Bro.
And you know what? Before even he was arrested in 2008, I think it was in the late 90s, there was somebody who wrote a paper, right? Who actually exposed the entire structure of Madoff's Ponzi scheme.
Really?
Can you imagine that, bro?
He has a patina of being a respected citizen, one of the most successful businessmen in New York, and certainly one of the most powerful men on Wall Street. You would never suspect him of fraud unless you knew the math.
So, I mean, you're like a math guy, right?
I've taken all the calculus courses from integral calculus to differential calculus, as well as linear algebra, and statistics, both normal and non-normal.
How long did it take you to figure out that there was something wrong?
It took me 5 minutes to know that it was a fraud. It took me another almost 4 hours of mathematical modeling to prove that it was a fraud.
What were the things that caught your attention?
It was the performance line. As we know, that markets go up and down, and his only went up. He had very few down months. Only 4% of the months were down months, and that would be equivalent to a baseball player in the major leagues batting .960 for a year. Clearly impossible. You would suspect cheating immediately.
Maybe he was just good.
No one's that good.
70-something page memorandum.
Damn.
And he submitted it to guess who? The Federal Reserve, bro. That's like the FCSA of South Africa. Submitted this memorandum. For 10 years, they ignored him, bro. Almost 10 years.
Okay, now it makes a lot of sense.
Ignored him. Like,
it makes a lot of sense, bro.
He would send email after email, follow up after follow up, and nobody said anything. But then when Madoff was arrested, and obviously now they're prosecuting people, the prosecutors used his work. A chunk of his work was actually used as evidence against Madoff.
Okay, now it makes a lot of sense as to my previous statement. That is, he was in cahoot with a lot of people.
The billionaire's wife found him unconscious and without a pulse at the bottom of the pool at their oceanfront mansion in Palm Beach around noon Sunday.
There was about a 15-minute window from the time that she saw him actually conscious and swimming in the pool until she went back out and saw that he was not responding.
Rescue workers were briefly able to restore the pulse, but Pekauer died a short time later at a hospital. Until Madoff's collapse, Pekauer and his wife Barbara were known mostly as wealthy donors to charity. But investigators say it was becoming increasingly clear that Pekauer played a major behind-the-scenes role in the Madoff scam, that his accounts were riddled with blatant and obvious fraud. The bankruptcy trustee alleged Pekauer was the biggest beneficiary of Madoff's scheme, withdrawing $7.2 billion of other investors' money.
Yeah, things were so bad. I personally thought we learned from that. I actually thought we learned from that. And who would have thought that, guess what? This thing will actually repeat itself. But worse, locally now.
Yep.
Locally.
Is it sustainable?
That's always a difficult call. I would think that if you look at what's happened since year-end in July and August, we've seen the same trend continuing in these territories with very strong double-digit growth sales. So for Steinhoff's behalf, I certainly hope it does sustain. Our rand-denominated earnings have been in revenue more than 50% of the group, so we've stuck to the rand, and we are a South African company, and I live, and the whole management live in South Africa, so...
Furniture maker and retailer Steinhoff International has reported that its first half headline earnings per share grew by 5% to 173 cents. The group's revenue surged by 52% to 57 billion rand. That's from 38 billion rand. Our reporter Tamisha Macaniello caught up with Markus Jooste, the CEO of Steinhoff.
But you know, we don't ever look short term. We have to look at the longevity of the business and the investments we've made in these countries in the years to come.
Steinhoff full-year results showed a 25% rise in headline earnings per share to 395 cents. Now, the furniture retailer saw its revenue rise to 115 billion rand, while its operating profit rose by 41% to 11 billion rand. Now, the company's chief executive, Markus Jooste, joined us earlier to unpack the numbers.
But to have achieved the annual turnover of 115 billion rand after 15 years as a listed company, and we started the first year with 3 billion. Obviously, that is a milestone for us to have broken that 100 billion mark.
Another financial scandal broke, with Steinhoff International Furniture Retailer losing half of their value on Wednesday after they announced an investigation into accounting irregularities and, of course, the resignation of Chief Executive Markus Jooste the day before. Now, it's estimated that local pension funds could have lost as much as 10 billion rand so far.
Just ask Steinhoff International. The South African retail giant lost billions from its market value on the JSE and in Frankfurt after its CEO Markus Jooste quit under a cloud. He's being investigated for evading tax, inflating revenues, and hiding bad debt. For years, shareholders may have enjoyed fat dividends, but for Steinhoff, the chickens are coming home to roost.
Steinhoff seems to have obviously engaged in some accounting fraud. Now, the problem here, of course, is that the consequence of such a fraud is that the company itself is now at the risk of either having to be closed down or, just really going under. The problem, of course, is that Steinhoff is a big multinational company. It employs over 130,000 people across the world. So the potential loss of jobs there is enormous, first and foremost. But also, more importantly, a lot of people then have invested their money into the business, and now they stand the chance of losing that money. Now, also within the number of people that have invested a lot of money into the Steinhoff business, a lot of the pension funds. Now, of course, pension funds tend to invest in companies with a very long-term view, hoping that these companies are going to be financially sustainable. So when these companies then tend to collapse, then it's the pensioners whose value is actually lost in the conversation.
The main character, he was a chairman of Steinhoff, right?
CEO. You see that position that black kids love so much? CEO. He was the CEO.
Yeah.
Everybody's a CEO these days. Oh my Lord.
Everybody's a CEO.
You could own a freaking mini laundry type thing.
Yeah.
And guess what?
There's a CEO. Yeah.
You're a CEO.
Okay, that's true. But a lot of people actually don't know the responsibility that goes into it. No. Worse, when you're responsible for controlling and investing a lot of people's money.
Yeah, man.
And so, yes, Steinhoff, what is it? Steinhoff International Holdings.
Yes, Steinhoff International Holdings.
Exactly.
Name, yes,
and it's registered on the JSE.
As well as the German stock exchange.
Oh.
I believe what initially happened, if you look back into their history, it's a German company, German furniture company. And when they crossed the border into South Africa, they needed a representative of sorts.
Okay.
And that's where our main character comes in. He was already running a very successful company in that industry. So they recruited him, he rose in rank, and eventually at some point he became the top dog.
Okay, Markus Jooste.
Yes.
So Markus
Jooste. The person of interest here is, of course, Markus Jooste.
Exactly. So it was last month.
Yeah. Recently, bro.
Yeah, it was recently.
And now we have the reports and the confirmation that Markus Jooste is dead.
With this breaking news now, the SABC has just confirmed that the disgraced former Steinhoff CEO Markus Jooste has died. Yes, good afternoon to you. And indeed, this just behind me is the spot where we understand Markus Jooste shot himself late yesterday afternoon.
He went for a run, right? He told his wife he's going for a run, and they called an ambulance, and he was identified as an old 63-year-old man has actually shot himself. But now the cause of death was basically that I think the night before he was ordered to surrender himself. And what was the charges? I think it was
475 million rand he was ordered to pay.
How many people lost their money?
Bro, 200 billion rand is hectic.
How many people lost their pension funds?
That's the worst part of it. People actually, like, you know what? It's one thing stealing from people, but stealing from the elderly, come on, guys. That's a new low. Like, dude, how are you going to steal from the elderly?
And you know what's the crazy part? The crazy part is a lot of people would have trusted this institution because they provide a certain level of security.
They seem reputable, and for a while they were. I don't know. Like, you know, I think people need to ask the question, what made them decide to get creative back in 2014? What happened, actually, that they decided? Because he wasn't alone. There was a guy called Dirk Schreiber, his German counterpart.
Oh, yes.
So he and Dirk were in cahoots, and they did this thing together. Basically.
But where's Dirk, though? He was implicated. He was implicated, and he was told to surrender himself.
Yeah. Even Jooste was summoned to a court in Germany, and he didn't show up. So he's got had an active arrest warrant in Germany.
In 2 countries?
In 2 countries, basically.
Damn, okay. It was coming down on him so bad. But my question again, do you think, because I personally still see it fishy, it's in the same case as Benny Madoff's case, where I don't think it was only 2 people involved. Because if, like we stated before, if there's a board of directors within a holding company, that means it's a group of people.
Exactly.
Is the number restricted? How many? What's the amount?
It can be as many as you want.
Exactly. Let's say we're about 10. Don't you think every one of them there is actually aware of what's happening?
They need to be. It would be very, very, very bad if they didn't know what was happening, at least.
Okay, so as I personally am thinking, a lot of people actually involved, and these 2 people had to take the fall.
Yeah, man, like in every situation, you need scapegoats. And I think they took the biggest falls because they are high interest individuals in that institution.
Okay.
One of them is a CEO, one of them is like a chief investment officer. So they're easy targets. Who do you think we're not looking at then? Because, like, history has a funny way of repeating itself, doesn't it?
Yes.
And this is not the last time this is going to happen. We know this.
Okay,
guys,
true.
It's not the last time it's going to happen.
This is not the last time.
It'll happen again, for sure.
It's going to happen again, because we just saw the whole incident of big corporation and big companies, in fact, trading against the rand.
Yeah.
We just saw that incident.
Imagine.
So what's the probability that another big Ponzi scheme is going to occur? Very likely, bro. The likelihood is so
almost 100%.
The likelihood is literally up here.
100%. That's going to happen again.
So my overall advice is, guess what? There is literally no security. The best thing is, before you invest your money or you do anything, it's advisable that you don't go with a hype. Like we've always said this. Don't go with a hype. Do your own due diligence, research, and find out if this is good, and don't put all your eggs in that one basket, because that's a failing strategy.
Certainly not. You can't do that. You can't put so much trust in one financial vehicle and you fail to look at the other ones. It's a bad idea.
No. It's bound to fail. Your eggs are gonna break if that basket falls.
Let's hope they don't, but just be careful.
Bro, it's gonna break.
Well, let's hope they don't. Let's be optimistic. Let's hope.
Okay.
Let's hope your eggs become chickens before the basket falls.
Hopefully.
Yeah,
so,
you know what? If you're going to take financial advice from somebody, take it from a professional.
Take it from a
Don't
professional.
take it from the man on the street, please.
Please, guys.
No.
Don't take it on hype.
Your friend who won an aviator is not a financial advisor.
No, it's not.
Don't take. No.
It's not. It might be luck.
it's luck.
Because I think a lot of people actually going off luck, other people's luck, and the fact that things were just booming in the stock market at that time.
Luck is actually a thing. It's actually a thing. I believe in luck. Personally, I do.
Okay, I do believe in luck as well.
It's a thing.
It's actually a thing. So, yeah. That's your advice?
That's my advice. That's my advice. Or that's my 2 cents at least.
Yes.
Take it with a pinch of salt. And let's be careful out there, guys. Let's hope you don't become the next Bernie Madoff. And very sad, obviously, what happened to Markus Jooste. Under no circumstances do you want to find yourself in a position where you need to take your own life as a result of these things. So yeah, let's be wise, y'all.
So guys, we will be seeing you on the next one. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Don't forget to comment below.
Yes, leave us your comments.
Yeah, leave us your comments below. Tell us what you think, and don't forget to share this video. We really appreciate it. We want to blow, we want to grow, we want to sow, we want to glow.
My man's out here dropping rhymes.
I know, right?
We can rap too, by the way.
Oh yes, we can. So guys, I guess we'll be seeing you on the next one. Yep. Ciao.